All right, I've had a lot of clients and non-clients ask me, how does this government shutdown affect immigration and how does it affect their case? So keep in mind that there are a lot of different agencies in the immigration framework. Okay, so each one of them is affected a little bit differently. All right, so we'll go through them one by one. ICE, everyone's familiar with ICE at this point. ICE is in charge of immigration and customs enforcement, okay? ICE is not affected by the government shutdown. They're considered essential workers. That's why you're still seeing, what they're doing in Chicago and some of these other cities. They are not affected by this and they will continue to work, and I don't even believe that there's any kind of furlough or reduction in workers during a government shutdown. USCIS. USCIS is actually completely fee-based, meaning that the employees of USCIS and the entire agency operates on the fees that are charged. So when you apply for a green card or naturalization, you have to pay a certain fee. Okay, it might be $600, $700, it might be $2,000. And those fees go to fund USCIS. So even if the government is shut down and they're not able to pass a budget to fund certain agencies, USCIS is not affected. So we don't see any hiccups or any delays with our green card cases, naturalizations, those types of things. The immigration courts. Immigration courts are affected, so you can kind of break the immigration courts into two groups. One is the detained docket and the non-detained docket. So if individuals are detained and they have court hearings, those are not affected. Those are considered essential workers, and those cases continue to get processed. For the non-detained docket, so these are individuals that have immigration court proceedings, but they're still living at home, they're conducting their lives, they have hearings scheduled, those are getting delayed, and that happened basically instantly when the government shut down. All of those cases were put on hold, basically. All right. CBP, so Customs and Border Protection, they are considered essential workers, so CBP is still going to be operating at ports of entry, whether that's, Ciudad Juarez, anywhere along the Canadian border, any airports. CBP is still going to be functioning. It's possible to see a reduction in staff to some degree, so certain things like L1 visas or TN visas that get adjudicated at a port of entry, those actually might not be able to get adjudicated, okay? So far we haven't seen that. So I have talked to colleagues that have said, no, I had a TN visa apply, just the other day and everything went smoothly. We didn't get rejected due to the shutdown or anything like that. But it is feasible that could happen eventually. So far we're not really seeing any effect on CBP. Department of State, these are the ones that run the consulates and embassies around the world. We have not seen those get affected either due to the government shutdown. And the last one is the Department of Labor. Okay, so not a lot of people regard the Department of Labor as being part of immigration, but if you have an H-1B case, if you have an E3 case, anything that, or a labor certification case, any case that involves either an LCA, so a labor condition application, or a PERM, those have to get filed with the Department of Labor. And the Department of Labor is severely impacted by a government shutdown. The Department of Labor does a number of things, but for immigration, it takes care of those two things, basically, the PERMs and the H-1Bs and E3s. So we have several cases like that we're ready to file with the Department of Labor, and we have to wait until this government shutdown is done. So if you have a case like that, you will experience delays. If you're transferring from one employer to another, which a few of our clients are, that could definitely cause some problems for your case. So hopefully that gives you a better understanding of how this shutdown is affecting the different areas of immigration. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Happy to jump on the phone or meet in person to discuss this. But hopefully that helps. Take care.